after 8. Let's get the show on the road. What do you think of our topic? Look at the topic. On TikTok, they only give you 36 characters, so I can't always put in the full title or topic. Be more interested than interesting. That is a challenge from a lot of us. We have to learn to be more interested than interesting. And that's a lovely friend of mine. Oh, Jan has something that I have to read. Yes, that lovely friend of mine, Perry, has been popping up and unwelcome, but I am learning to handle a good old Miss Perry. This character has had so many names over the ages, I can't believe it. So anyway, let's go back, Perry. We'll talk about that another time. So, be more interested than interesting. And pause to think about it. What makes us believe, Donnie's laughing away, that we should be more interested? Say what you think. Why should we be more interested than to be interesting? And I know those of you who are looking at the words are saying, here she goes again with her words, interested in what is around, who is around, observing, listening, that is being interested. But when you want for you to be the interesting human, that is when you miss the boat. So good morning, beautiful, wonderful souls. It's another sacred start to our day, and I welcome you with joy, purpose, and a spark of divine energy today. Morning blessing is titled, Be More Interested Than Interesting. This message will ask us to pause and reflect on something subtle, but deeply transformative. It's about shifting our focus from how we are seen or how we see, from how we present to how we perceive, from showing up to impress to showing up to connect. Okay, so you guys get it, right? So let's begin with a deep breath. Inhale and let us center ourselves in curiosity. If we want to be interested, take that deep breath. It doesn't have to be forever. In and out. What it does, it brings you down a peg or two. It brings us down a peg or two. So, the pressure to be interesting is what we were taught. From the time we are young, we're taught to make ourselves interesting. Be funny, be accomplished, be well-dressed, be unique, be captivating. We're told, make sure you stand out. Remember that? Make sure you stand out. We are always told that. This is especially common in the age of social media. It's getting even worse now. Every post, every story, every reel is designed to shout. Look at me. Aren't I interesting? And we keep scrolling, trying to measure up. We cannot measure up. They have something that they want to do. We cannot go measuring up to other people's standards. We have to find our best clothes, our spot, our niche, who we are, and stay there and do our best there. And it's when we do our best, we observe. And when we observe, we do not strive to be interesting. We are in our own zone. We are being interested in what is happening, not trying to emulate, to grab, to be like. I remember the time when everybody wanted to have big lips and they went and they injected it. And sometimes when you saw them on the screen, you went, whoa. And then it just keeps going and everybody started doing it. They look like they're going to eat you for dinner. And it's not real when we do that. But they want it to be interesting. They get more careless. They do more things that to make other people see them. You can be seen without going to extreme. You can be, that is why on Thursdays when I talk about the sensuous woman, at first everybody thought it was about sex. It's not. Sensuality has nothing to do with that. It all has to do with how you enter the world. You are in it. You are just gliding with it. You are interested in it. You observe it. You see it. You feel it. You do not have to make it see you. You do not have to make it observe you. You do not have to make it come and feel you. You are unique. And you have to remember that. So, but let me ask this. When was the last time someone being interesting changed your life? Ask that question. And the person that was so interesting, they changed your life because they believed they could do that. I am a teacher. So that means I give you a little bit at a time. It takes years for us to take what we know and transform it so someone can see the book we stand in and understand us. Because without looking at the book, that we're the page where I am, because I am in that spot, all I can do is see what's interesting around me in the book of life. But instead of making myself so interesting that I am the center, I cannot be the center. You hear people talk about the child or this situation is the center of your universe, but it is not the center of the universe. So we have to remember that. When was the last time someone being interesting changed your life? That interesting person couldn't give you what you're looking for. They're showing, here I am, this is me, I'm amazing. They're not telling you, this is what I have. Can you take a little piece of it if you would like to do something with your life? That's the teacher. The teacher can only give you a little bit. The teacher will not be interesting. Oh, I am so interesting. You have to see me 24/7. No, you don't. So, but no, when was the last time someone being interested in you made you feel deeply seen and valued? When was the last time? That's what the teachers do. That is what the world teachers do. This is what the Mahatma Gandhi, the Nelson Mandela, the Martin Luther King, the others do. All of them, those big, amazing, those from Einstein, all of them going back. Theodore Roosevelt, these people spoke. You know, and the way they did it, they said something that made a difference in your life. They were interested in you. They didn't ask you to measure up to them. Look at me. They didn't say that to you. But so you have to know for sure that you are being interested in others is allowing them to grow. Somebody said, I hear words. I only hear words. When you speak to me, I hear your words and your inflection. When somebody's conversing with me, I hear the words. The words stay in my mind. And sometimes you think, Tessa-Marie talks so much. How does she even hear me? I remember for 10 years later, it just happens to be like this. But that person being interested in you made you feel deeply seen and valued. And they taught you. They heard you. They felt you. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I remembered it because it was such a turning point in this young lady's life. I woke up that morning and I thought of her. And I remember just saying to myself, I wonder why I'm thinking about so-and-so at this, first thing in the morning. So I do not go on my phone early. I do not touch my devices until I'm ready to do this. And then I went in later, and there she was. She had sent me a message and said, I am coming over to see you today. So I said, okay, I'm going for a walk at 9. I should be back by 10. As I'm walking home, she comes. When she left my house, it was 6 p.m. that night. She said to me, I came here for you to give me some courage to do what I plan to do. That is what she came for. And when you talk to her, she will tell you, haven't you been to the Tessa-Marie School of 5 Pillars, Financial Pillars? If you haven't been there, you're not alive. But she came because she knows I would be interested in what she had to say and to guide her to where she desires to go. That's what a teacher does. The person that wants to tell you to emulate Tom, Dick, or Harry down the street is not a teacher. They themselves are not interested in themselves. They are interested in other people. So we have to do, when we are emotionally prosperous, that's when the shift begins. The shift begins with the 5 pillars. Us, something different. It teaches us that us, we are different. The 5 pillars prosperity taught us some things are beautiful, true. Fulfillment doesn't come from being interesting. It comes from being interested in that world around us. When we're emotionally prosperous, we listen with our hearts, not just our ears. We take an interest in someone else's story. When we are mentally prosperous, we are curious. We love to learn, to ask, to explore, not just to be right or prove something. We only want to learn. When we are physically prosperous, we notice our surroundings, the wind, the trees, the way the animals behave, how our body feels. We take interest in how we live. This morning, I took off the shoes I wear indoors, and I saw it was right next to the bed. I bent and I picked it up and I put it away from that spot. When I did this, I remembered when I was younger, I wouldn't care. I would leave it there. And maybe I would trip on it. But my balance was the balance of a younger version of me. But now I am interested in how I live. So I picked it up and I put it away from where I would not trip on it. That's what I'm talking about. This is what it's all about. We take interest in how we live. When we are spiritually prosperous, we marvel at creation. We observe, we connect, and we are reverent. That is what, when we're spiritually prosperous. We marvel at the creation. We marvel at things. We observe, we connect, and we are reverent. And when we are financially prosperous, we are interested in how we can help, uplift, support, and invest in others, not just in ourselves. So one of those things for sure we have to remember as we go through life, being interested as a human person is not being interesting as a human person. I did not say being, I zeroed in on a person, me, the person. How being interested changes everything. Here's the truth. So when we are interested, it really changes everything. When you show interest in others, you become magnetic. You want people to be there to see you, then show interest in what they do. Show interest in who they are. Listen to them. Hear their words. Hear their inflection in their voices. Hear their feelings, their emotions. When somebody says certain words and it is flippantly said, you can tell it's a sign of a little bit of frustration, or I don't know what to do. What do you mean by that? Why are you saying it like that? That is how you are interested in your friends, your family, your mere acquaintances. When somebody does not understand something and they mock it, what do you do with that? You can't correct them in that moment. You have to let the spaghetti sauce simmer. It came to a boil. That's why they're mocking. But it's not your turn to go and take a pot and say, put it over here. You might get burned. So why do that? You leave it alone and you let it simmer. You found out, you observe. And you have that information now. And the time comes when you can pull it out and set it on the table in front of them and say, listen, we need to talk about that. But by then the pot is cooler. People feel seen. People feel heard. And that, my dear friends, is what opens hearts and builds bridges. It's what starts conversations that matter. It's how trust is built. When you become genuinely interested in someone's story, you stop performing and start connecting. You step out of the spotlight and start shining it on others. You're interested. You're pushing it for them. You're getting them to do it. And that's what matters. Whether it's a colleague, a cashier, your child, a stranger on a bus, ask yourself, what can I learn here? What story might this person carry? Just ask it of yourself. And that's where curiosity begins to take roots in you. And of course, when you're curious, if you do not have balanced emotional prosperity, you can be the cat. Curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. But if you have emotional prosperity that's really high, you'll be able to wait and don't jump. So you won't be that cat. Although satisfaction, no I know, no I feel. When you do not have to feel, you can observe and make it more interesting. What is that? During COVID, for example, we had these cashiers that came in. They were masked, they were gloved, they were there, they showed up. And I remember when it all went, there was this particularly older lady that was always at work. And she was there one day. And I went, and the only thing I could do is to tell her how I appreciate it. But I knew that wasn't enough. So I got her a gift card and I said, this is just because I know you were there all the time, mask up, and just being there for us to make sure we had food to feed our family. She was so surprised, she started to cry. But I was interested in her. I observed her. All you could see was her eye. And there was fear because she needed the money. Otherwise, she would stay home. She told me that after. So I got genuinely interested in her by observing her. Just that. That's what we have to remember. People feel heard, and that is when they feel that you are there. People will remember how you made them feel than what you maybe said. So, when you're genuinely interested in someone's story, you stop performing and start connecting. You step out of the spotlight and not shining it on them. Whether it's your friend, as I said, the cashier. So, interest beyond people, nature, animals, moments. So we talk a lot about being interested in people. Being interested isn't just about people. Take a walk and become curious about that tree. How long has it stood there? What birds nest in it? What animals pass it by? I know that is not serious talk, But do you only miss the tree when the wind has taken it down? Do you only miss the animals when they get the West Nile disease and all the birds are dying or whatever? Is that when you miss them? Were you interested to see that after West Nile virus, the blue jays are very scarce in the city? And that's so many years ago. You go up north and you'll see tons of blue jays. You still see the cardinals. So that's what I mean. So how long has this tree stood there? What birds nest in it? What animals pass by it? Look at your pet. Watch them breathe. Study their rhythm, their loyalty, their love. Marvel at how much they feel. Dawn has a dog in Dominique and she's in New York and she's sick of it. She's more interested in how the dog eats than how anything else happens. She's interested in her dog. They had a cat, something happened, and they took the cat to the vet. They had it on life support. And then they buried it. When it died, they were interested, both she and everything, in that cat. So look at those things. Let your heart grow wide. Let your soul become a sponge for the world. I'm soaking up the world around you. It makes you present in the moment, and it's in the moment that the miracles that you're looking for, and the magic and the manifestation and the visualization that you seek will happen. It does not happen making yourself interesting to others. It happens when you get interested in others. It makes you aware, and when you are aware, you are alive. If you are aware of your surroundings, like I said, a simple act. I move those shoes from the center of the bedroom to the side. I might be walking head up and don't see it. The rest, you all can visualize. So that's some of the things we have to be interested in our surrounding. So sometimes when you get something, you have to practice it. Practice for today. Here's your challenge for today. Choose one person you meet today and ask them a thoughtful question. Be curious. Have you noticed that since we started saying to each other, how are you feeling today? The vocabulary opens up. Instead of saying, how are you doing? You do not have to be a human doing. You were created, and all of us, to be human doings, right? No. We were created to be human beings, and then they told us you have to do so you can be more interesting to people. When really, if you're a human being, you're going to be more interested in the beings around you, the trees, the birds, the flowers. This young lady just showed up here, Marina, on Instagram. When she travels, she sends pictures of artwork. What does that tell me? Or curiosity on buildings and stuff. She is interested in what is around her, and she shares it. So she's interested in doing it so we can see what's going on somewhere else. It's like reading. My father told me, read and do not ever stop reading, because everywhere the author has gone, you're going to go there. It's in the pages of the book, and you haven't left home. You are visiting many worlds, many different worlds. So you're interested in what you see, what you read, what you comprehend. So choose one person today. When you meet today, and ask them, how are you feeling today? And when you're going, I love you. It does not have to be reserved just for family. Somebody told me the reason why they can't say I love you is because it was never told to them. Well, it's time we break the mold. Be more interested in that person and say, you know what? I love you. Open that heart and pull on those heartstrings. It is not reserved only for family and friends. It must be out there. Have a great day. How are you feeling today? You look beautiful. I love your smile. I love your this. You just have to choose one place, a tree, a corner of your garden, or a space in your home, and observe it with new eyes. Yeah. Just look at it with the eyes of the stranger. You know what it looks like, but have you really seen it? Your favorite chair. When you sit in it, how does your bum feel on that chair? When you go to stand up, what are you holding? You shouldn't be interested in what you're doing to that body called yours. When you're brushing your teeth, stand on one leg and brush your teeth. Stand on the other leg to rinse your mouth. That is being interested in you, in your life, how you're going to end up in your late 70s, early 80s, 102. The legs go first. So what are you interested in doing? And don't tell me, Tessa-Marie, I'm 45. Oh yeah, I was there too. You know? But I know that from observation and being interested in others. They'll tell me my leg, my friend said her bad knee, the other one said I had this and that. So obviously the legs are going. I was interested enough to ask. And now I can help myself, and I am interested enough to tell you, here you are. You try that. You stand when you're doing the dishes on one leg for 5 minutes without leaning on the sink. You stand out of the chair with your leg planted firmly, your bum to the edge of the chair. And yes, it will be weak, but I'm sharing that. I am interested in you living good, feeling great. Choose one creature, yes, even a bird in the skies, and just take an interest in the bird. Look at it. Just watch the bird and see something different. Jot down what you notice. Write it down. How it made you feel and what shifted in your awareness. They fly. At this time of the year, right now, you can hear them, but not as you heard them in the spring. Are you aware of that? If I'm doing a live outside, you'll hear the big Westminster chime that is like 4 feet I have hanging. You will hear it. But you also hear the birds. But no, the birds are not as they're not mating yet again. So they're not screaming and shouting, I'm available to get married to you. They're not. So we get to know what's happening in the world by observing. This morning, the sky was looking like cotton balls. And some days it's just gray with a blue hue. You know it's going to be sunny today. Observation. So let us bless today, this morning. May your eyes be wide with wonder. May your ears listen with presence. May your words be filled with kindness and curiosity. May your spirit stretch and expand as you find joy in what you learn from others. May the 5 pillars guide you to see the world not as something to impress, but something to be impressed by. Go out into the world today, not to shine for an applause, but to shine a light on what you discover. Be interested in everybody, my dear. That is where the miracles live. Have a beautiful and prosperous connected day, because that is where life begins. In each moment of the day, it doesn't matter what is hurting now. What matters is what is not hurting now. That's where we should put our joy. That's where we should put our concentration on. That's what are we going to do about what is hurting? If we dwell on it, it will just be taking us down to what we're interested in, pain. Because there's joy. Stop looking for new accomplishments and celebrate the accomplishments you already have. And that is when, again, interesting is not as powerful as being interested. Get interested. Observe that person. When you're advising because you believe you have something to teach, be interested to know who they are. Be curious about them before you pontificate. There's a difference between living an example or to pontificate and say, do this, or don't you want to know?